from the headquarters of the Tino Party. So what's going on, man? Troubled, man. Pretty troubled. Bloomin'. So the thing with being a Kiwi is you're pretty familiar with geopolitical. See, these bloody people that are in the geopolitical, they think government's the big deal and all those sorts of things, but I don't feel like that. I feel that actually we're the big deal, right? We're the big deal. Now, just the whole extent, this is what I've been thinking, just the whole extent of this operation that's in progress. And was in progress the day it started, the day the first bank opened in New Zealand, right? This was there, right? Because there's a situation in New Zealand at the moment, right? You've got cost of living, right? Which actually, the cost of living in New Zealand, it literally feels like we've got about 40% inflation. 40%, man. They had a plain packaging thing happen to the cigarettes. I think there's some deal being done because the cigarettes taste shit now. They ain't what they were at all. It almost doesn't matter which one you get because none of them taste like anything. It's like, yeah, that's a story in itself, that one. You know, I noticed in the late 90s, here's a shout out to whatever's going on, right? Yeah, the late 90s, there was all sorts of things like razors that wouldn't, they go blunt fairly quickly, eh? You know, there's been all this stuff, there's just been this trend of influence, okay, all this time, and this you see, there's a sticking point that's come to light, right? Which is, I don't think we should be getting our identity from religion and the financial system, because this is what is going on. And that's going on, you know. We do this stuff, it's in our face, you know. We get the stuff we like and get it in our face. So everyone's too busy living to actually notice these kinds of things, but the fuel price is another one. You know, it's all priced as much as our income can stand, right? That's pretty much it, because I've just had this phone bill thing, right? And how this phone plan works is just, you know what, it's kind of sickening, right? According to the spirituality of people, this is a sickening practice, man. Because it's just a lecherous thing. It's lecherous. You know, it's lecherous, and so. All the stuff's coming in, you know, there's how you know, the legal system having a foreign language, okay, to what people understand. And they've just got really expensive translators that you need. But I'm feeling there's a bit of dyslexia in the justice systems, you know, the legal system, because it takes so long to do stuff. Now I know that's to imply something, right? But seriously, man, taking that long to do stuff, and this is an average thing, a government inquiry, you know. Tell you one thing that proves this is like the Grosjean's crash. It was Grosjean, eh? He tried to turn in on that dude and he spun out and head on through that Armco, a triple layer of Armco, and just smashed his way through the bottom two. It was on fire and it was like burning, man, and then he jumps out and he's just bounding out of the car and he jumps the fence back, he jumps back over the fence. That was really cool, man, to see that. He crashed and he comes bloody out of that car like that. Whoa. So anyway, the Formula One people are going to investigate it and they might take 8 weeks. So I just described what happened. But they say it's going to take 8 weeks. See, there's your whole problem. There's a massive, that's a problem right there, man. It's like, oh, what? So I just described, I told you everything about what just happened. He went to go right across the track, smacked into the front of another car, and it spun him directly, like no shit, it was crunch. You might have seen it, you know, you might have seen it. 8 weeks to investigate that. Yeah, there was a shooting today. Some guy turned up in town here, this place called the Viaduct, and they had this bar going there, and they were really like unruly, and the guy got angry, and he went back and got this gun and shot. He shot several shots in the air, and there was another one at a strip club, and the guy went there with a gun. I don't know if he started shooting it, they didn't say about that. It's quite something, eh? So the lengths that they go to control the narrative, right? Fucking, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. If that's true, because the old mosque shooting in Christchurch, you know, if it was about that mandate, right? He wouldn't have gone into a mosque, man. He would not have gone into a mosque. If he read that mandate. This dude rang up Talkback Radio, they were saying it was banned, and it was like fucking, you know, it was banned outright, you know. But this dude rang up and he'd read it. You know, he had some familiarity with it, I'll say that. And he reckoned that the mandate that the shooter of Christchurch used was actually like listening to Talkback Radio for 3 weeks. And actually this is exactly what it is, man. And so he wouldn't have gone into a mosque. No way. No way, man. You can't even see me now. Yeah, so we're just whispering now because we're telling secrets. Man, if you keep me, you know what, it's pretty obvious. One thing I've noticed, man, you know, I was on this road here in Auckland, North Shore Auckland, right? and it's the main arterial route, right? I was at these lights and there was like 5 cars ahead of me, and the light turned green and we all went off, and it took 200 metres to get to 50 k's an hour. Okay, now I've heard it, that was yesterday, Sunday. I've heard of Sunday driving, but that's taking the joke, man. So flip that over. See, this is the temperament. This is the temperament of people. I lost my temperament today because it's too much of the slowness, man. Too much of the slowness. It's freaking me out, man. You know? First, the traffic lights are really slow. You know, it's like, this was like it when I was here the other time, like 7 years ago. It's like they're kind of they're trying to be helpful to the foreign population or something. And because they were literally, Wellington, it was twice as fast, twice the speed, man. It's changing, and so there's something very obvious going on with traffic lights. So at night, you know what, there's only a few cars. If there's anyone stopped at those lights, there might be one car, right? But they still take all their time to change. So that's something that's going on right now, tonight, right? We've got a lot of roadworks going on. Like here at Queen Street of Auckland here, they've dug up all the waterfront, right? And there's been this roadwork, the ones at the top, at least there is progress being seen on them. And it's finished work progress as well. That hasn't been so bad, but my God, everything's taking forever. Now, there's this problem at the port. They wanted to have this automated system happen, right? And it doesn't work properly. And now there's, like yesterday, there was 10 ships waiting to come into see the port here, right? There were 10 ships out there, container ships, man. There were some bulk carriers and that. Well, being here, this is like a fucking, this giant theatre, man. It's fucking. Yeah, so there's stuff going on in New Zealand, right? And that's for that, like this COVID thing and all the conspiracy theories about that. It's in the same vein as that. But this is this ongoing bloody life in New Zealand thing, man. It's like Fonterra, they sell their stuff on the world market, and I think 7% of it is retained here in New Zealand. And they've got some reason that they have to charge the international prices. And see, on another thing, you can buy some meat in London cheaper than you can buy it in New Zealand, and it's from here. And you know what, New Zealand is a business whorehouse. There's such a heavy focus on that kind of thing being morally upstanding. Okay, they think it's being morally upstanding. You know, I said a statement once, man. I call them the third party society, because they always organise things from a third party position, right? And it's very difficult. You can't see the origin of it from a third party position by observing it. You know, you can't see that third party position from an observational point of view. And this is why it's great camouflage. And so she had the great stock market crash of 1987, right? So this is what they do. They go in there and they crash the, all it is it stops its function. There's nothing wrong with it. They've just stopped it operating. And it gives the impression that, it's crashed. And then they run around, buy a lot of stuff. And it's what it is. It's to rob the public. I'm sorry, but that's what seems to happen. Because it's a finite equation, the economy, right? The stock market, all that jazz, man, whatever they do. And you see, another facet of it is that when it's the public that create the wealth through work, when we're in that position, right, how is it the welfare of banks dictate these collapses, right? Like the recessions, GFC, man. How come they cause those and it has the effect it has on us, while it's us that generate the wealth? That we generate the wealth, we're insulated from everything, man, And actually, because it's all outward travelling, right? We create the wealth and it's outward travelling from us, man. And so anyway, they can stop that now. I should read the Revelation of the Outlaws. The grand amnesty, man. The grand amnesty. Because like I say, those Wall Street traders, these people that control the money supply, as they say, they're doing exactly what boy racers do. They're doing exactly what boy racers do. When I say boy racers, car heads, car enthusiasts, right? Car enthusiasts, man. Because all the old school crowd, and I'm technically part of that, all those machines are all really tidy now. And you can't do that thing where you're tinkering around with it, because all that stuff's worth gold now, eh? Like, I used to like Valence, and so there's none left, man. There's none anywhere, because they're all kept in garages and they're all kind of minted out, and it's like the classic car, like KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, had a Valiant in their adverts. So they've got a unique presence, the old Valiant, right? A very unique presence, especially in the context of New Zealand. They're an ideal car. They're an ideal car. Yeah, I'll say that. But having seen that there's none around now, so I've traded to the BMW. Because actually, if they kept making Valiants out of Australia and followed that logical progression of engineering, my car, this E63, and the BMW, actually, Valiant would have been just like this, right? Would have been just like this. So for some reason though, back then, after 81, this was the last one even made in 1981, for some reason they just shut down, eh? They just shut down, and so that's a very interesting thing. Holden Comodore, they've been shut down on purpose, man. They've been shut down on purpose, man. and that's an observation of something that's going on, right, around the place, right? So you can see there's a real trend, there's an obvious trend of this prevailing influence over our lives, man, you know. Now I'll interject in my little story with a little truism, right? Oh, fucking slipped my mind now. Damn. It's from the Revelation of the Outlaws, eh? It's like shocking, man. See, that's unwritten yet, you know. See, that's the minimum reducible argument on Facebook there, right? This is a general thing of it. It's concise. But every data point in there, those post-discovery data points, there's a whole chapter of a book on those ones, man, you know. I think I round out like 12 of them. I think there's another couple, actually, as well. There's been 2 or 3 good ones. Man, you got to write stuff down though, eh? Holy moly, you got to write that stuff down, eh? Like straight away. Bet you musos out there know about that. You fucking have some idea, man. You better just make it. But download it to this realm, or it'll be gone forever, eh? Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, Roadworks, eh? So they are here. It's like this. They use this area of the motorway over here as practice for STMS, which are the road cones guys. They put the road cones there when there's traffic roadworks going on. There's been a whole lot of times I've set roadworks up there and narrowed the lane right down. For no roadworks going on. Now it could be plausible, they're training people, you know, and that'd be great. They have absolutely, they could be trained. Working amongst traffic is trippy, man, because I with my truck there, I can be around traffic, you know, reasonably easily. Yeah. Bloody roadworks, man. So yeah, restricted speed zones around roadworks is also another thing. You know, they go just hundreds of meters beyond the roadworks. You know what I would have instead? I would have concrete barriers. I'd have 3 concrete barriers, one right next to the roadworks, one back from that, and then one up from that. If you're still keen enough, you can get through 2 of those concrete barriers and get through that 3rd one too. Well, then the dude's got a problem. But they only need to put that, and everyone understands what concrete is, right? You can paint it orange too. But yeah, this massive restricted speed. Like today, it was 30 kilometres an hour. For ages, they were installing these wire rope things. And you know what, seeing how these people leave the lights, you know, really quietly with a slow reaction as, man. So those wire ropes, like dividers, they actually probably do a good job. They're bad design though, because they rip the wheels out of cars. If the car contacts them, they just get ripped out. So I'd like to sting whoever decided that they'd use them the cost of adding a strip on the structure, along the structure, so the front wheel cannot go into those pylons, man. You know, they're about every metre or something, right? It writes cars off, man. And if a motorbike hit it, well, That's not good for the motorcyclists or the bike if a bike happened to it. Far out. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit, eh? See, the radio today, man. You know, the talkback radio, they complain about stuff vehemently, that it's really bad and it's stupid and it's like whatever. But that's the thing, they keep it in the public focus. You know? They keep it in the public focus. And that is the trick of it. And so that plane that went missing, remember that, over Australia? Yeah, that was right in the centre of people's attention. That's where it was. So the fact is then, though, you know, I've been saying all along, that the system's painted itself into a corner completely, right? It's done it itself. It's bloody done it itself, man. So I propose that the revelation of the Outlaws is the reset they look for, because it's an amnesty. It's an amnesty, right? And you know what? Yeah, no, there's other stuff, eh? New Zealand's got a bit of a past with that, eh? Little spies and fucking... See, I'd hate to see what actually the footprint of, like, British intelligence is here. I wondered what that would be, man. And they had a great big conference down in the South Island there, Queenstown. You know, it was all those flunkies from that Russia investigation on the government side, the bureaucracy side. There were several characters from that lot. They had this meeting down here, eh? That was like 2 years ago or something like that, you know. So yeah, the aspirations, right? You got the system and you got banking, and you could easily be fooled into thinking it's the banking system, man. It's the banking system. Yeah, it's actually not. It's really about you know, these people that are up that top end there. It's all they know, eh? And I'm telling you, they're rolling just like boy racers, you know, just like car heads, want to be better. You know, they're buzzing out that it's a work of art at the same time, you know, and there's no exit strategy of them. They can't do it. They can't do it. And because of the nature of productivity, they cannot actually, they can't continue with it. They can't continue with it because it's like, it's been seen to be, you know what, it craps out, pretty much. There's obvious anomalies about it, okay? And so you step back from it, from that, you know, you take a step back, kind of a view of it, right? And it's not fit for purpose, man. And see, they what they like, these dudes, right? What these dudes like, they like financial activity, right? That's their thing. They like financial activity, and so if I had my way, there could be 3 times more all round. Okay, 3 times more productivity, 3 times more financial activity all round. Okay, if you embrace the revelation of the Outlaws, I anticipate that happening, because math does not lie. You can check that out, man. Math doesn't lie, man. It's never wrong. Math is never wrong. So you make your own call on it. Amnesty and upwards and onwards, or playing this fucking theatre act to no end. You know, that's all replicating the function of anxiety. That's the politically correct optimum outcome according to the political entity anxiety. It's the politically correct optimum outcome. And see, that's how the qualification exists there for the message. If it's put like in those terms, you can see the difference. If they think that anxiety is, they believe that anxiety is virtuous, and then there are those that believe in the expression of consciousness. Okay, and that's the two things. Because of the nature of language and our relationship to anxiety, this is why that's always got the upper hand, and why it seems conventional wisdom. So yeah, I have a different view, because it all ends up being within that jurisdiction. So consciousness knows there's boundaries there, right? Boundaries, and you have to be loyal to, there's got to be loyalty to the cause, man. And so that's how this has gone down, and how every person has actually had a significant bias built into their psyche because of the events outlined in the Revelation of the Outlaws. And that's happened to every friggin' person that was ever born. So I'm just saying, we need to just chill out a little bit, do a reset, yeah, but we need to use the Revelation of the Outlaws. That's your reset, man. Because no one cares about the money thing, right? See, it's sticking out more and more now. Actually, the human being wants experiences, right? He wants, the human wants experiences. He wants those experiences, those generic experiences, or some new experiences, But we thrive on, and whatever money we use, it's just coming out of the bank, right? And so, as long as you've got just a bit more than you're spending, you fucking, so you can pretend that you've got lots more. Because as it happens, like the wealthy people, they operate like that. See, so not only are they promoting anxiety as virtuous, by definition, they're doing it in the carefree manner of people that have got way enough money to do anything they want. So that question is taken out of their thinking, and they're relaxed, and they've got a nice life, so they seem very happy. And so this is all the camouflage of anxiety, how it's remained camouflaged, that anxiety is, they believe that anxiety is wisdom. The belief that anxiety is wisdom, because that's all those layers of culture on top of this thing that's actually at the quantum level of ourselves. That's all of our, layers. Now there's an interesting kind of, it's diametrically opposed to that, which is the poor solo mum just worried she's got enough money. So that's a polar opposite thing right there. The polar opposite. And that shows how there's two sides to this. That the belief that anxiety is wisdom, and the belief in the expression of consciousness. That's that flip side. It's actually consciousness that's been inverted. It's inverted consciousness or non-inverted consciousness. And in the world where the belief that anxiety is wisdom is like conventional wisdom, this is why the rich man with his way of life and what he does, he seems to has the moral substance, and the one that believes in the expression of consciousness is poor. right? So I tell you what, why don't you go watch the speech in Braveheart, okay?